Welcome, y'all, to the next installment of the Dismount Podcast. And today we are talking Fantasy World. How do you stay grounded in reality? This one is going to be a deep dive into video games and all of those simulation worlds that we love to play, enjoy, and experience. As always, this podcast is not a do as we say. This is a deep dive into the minds and the experiences and the vulnerability authentically from those who sit down with us. Today's episode is with the Dismount OGs. We got Brandon, you'll hear him be called Titty, and we got Derry and myself, Zach, and we are about to rip. So, as this podcast always goes, little backstory if this is your first time tuning in. We throw out 6 questions, and then the 3 of us all take time. We journal on those 6 questions, and then we come together, and that's what we talk about for the hour and a half that we're going to discuss this topic. So today's Fantasy Worlds, all of the places and the experiences that we've had with video games and different simulations, VR, all that different fun stuff. So today's 6 questions. What's a game or simulated world you've gotten lost in? And what did it offer you that real life wasn't offering at that time? Number 2, when does immersion cross the line from healthy escape to unhealthy avoidance? And have you ever felt yourself drifting too far? Number 3, what aspects of your real life sometimes feel less real or less fulfilling than what you experience in a fantasy world? Do games and simulations ever teach you something about yourself that real life hasn't revealed yet? That's number 4. Number 5, how do you personally draw the boundary between enjoying a fantasy and avoiding your reality? What helps you stay grounded? And then number 6, if real life had levels, quests, or missions like a game, what would yours be right now? And how can you treat real life progress with that same energy that you bring to all those badass games that you play? So let's rip right into it. We're going with number 1. What's a game or simulated world you've gotten lost in, and what did it offer you that real life hasn't offered you at that time? Take it away, Derry.
Thinking about this in a world, because I'm not very good. I was never a big story mode guy. I don't know if you guys, I know Brandon definitely is. I'm not so much sure about you, but the maybe younger playing like the Halo games and those things, like I definitely enjoyed the story mode on, but I was more of a, once I got a taste of the multiplayer aspect, I was like, I love playing with other people. And nowadays, it holds true. Like I really don't enjoy it as much if I'm not playing with a good squad of people. But the one that I thought of early on in the video game journey would be Madden, playing like the franchise modes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. And one thing to say about those, it feels so crazy that games made like 15, 20 years ago feel so much more in-depth and enjoyable than games that are made now. Everything's like buy to win, and you have to like Ultimate Team's really big in sports games where you have to like buy the card packs to get the good players to have a good team. And that's no fun, in my opinion. I enjoy just like, if I want to play a game Madden against someone online, I'm just picking a team, you're picking a team, we're playing. Just like if me and Brandon were playing a game. But the franchise mode was one that I loved. Like as a 10-year-old, like I didn't have a lot of control in my early years. So like that gave me the utmost control I could find. Like I didn't have any knowledge about money in any instance. I may have not had $5 to my name, but I knew that like Jerome Bettis wasn't worth the 4-year extension he was asking for at $3.7 million a year. You know, like I was like, nah, you know what, Jerome, the legs are giving out a little bit. I think we're talking maybe 2-3 years here. And it's like, hey, Mom, when we go to McDonald's for dinner, you buying? You know, so I'm discussing like multi-million-dollar contracts, and you have to like negotiate and make trades and all that great stuff. The customization was so cool back then too. Like, can make the teams, like you got to like pick the logo and the colors, and you made the stadium, and then you would make like the signs the fans held up and all that stuff of like the creativity of the world you're in. Like I love sports growing up and still do, and the football aspect is like, oh, I get to like make my own team. I can redraft and pick my own players. I can put whoever I want on the Steelers. Those things were really cool for me growing up, seeing that I like Yeah, any kid, 10 years old, not a lot of control in your life. So that shit made me feel powerful. Like I was in charge. I had that CEO energy, that president, that general manager energy, where I had no business discussing contracts or cutting players or the decision to fire the coach. But in that world, I had that, and that was something I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I think about NCAA football
Mhm.
and NHL were
Yeah.
my two ones. Like,
Yeah, I
when
did a
you
lot of
got
the
to make
NHL
the
too.
ultimate team on there,
Mhm.
like you got to do the fantasy draft.
Yeah.
And you got, dude, I remember picking all players from like the European and like Russian leagues.
Yeah.
And then like Nicholas Backstrom came over and got drafted. And I remember picking him like every time I went through, I like snagged him up.
Yeah.
And then, oh shit, this guy's now in the NHL?
Yeah.
That is sick. But like when I was doing it, he was just a European League player at that point in
Yeah.
time. Like those were really, really badass. For yourself, Brandon, like where did you dive into those simulated worlds?
Swear I could write 2 separate volumes of books, one on GTA 5 online. Hell, I could do one on story mode too. And I could do one on cheat codes. And then I could also do one on Assassin's Creed. And Derek has saw how far I've gotten lost in it to where he even like looked up, hey, Rockstar Games is hiring. Maybe if you want to take a pay cut, like, I'm pretty sure you could go play like video games for 8 hours a day or consult, like, you'll get a pay cut, but like at the same time, it might be worth it. But yeah, I totally have got lost in I'll try to just stay focused on Grand Theft Auto. I've got lost on Grand Theft Auto. You both have seen it. I've got like, it's really terrifying to believe that there's people who are more obsessed with Grand Theft Auto than I was.
Yeah.
And I'm the guy who, you come fuck on me, I'm going to come shoot you with my DeLorean and blow your ass up. Like, I'm going to go get my car. I'm going to come fly over, shoot you, and I'm going to keep shooting you every time you spawn. Like, so I've went in so deep, pun intended. I even have a submarine now. I have a submarine yacht. Like I went in, I got it all. And like pretty much at a certain point, I'm like, okay, like what else is there? And I was like, once I got the submarine and yacht, I'm like, oh, no, I'm happy. I've got everything I need. If I want money, I just let it run on passive mode. I got so lost in it that I would just leave the controller sit on the couch and I'd walk by and bump the controller every once in a while so it doesn't go in sleep mode.
Dude.
And I'm just making millions, just bump the controller, wait like a couple hours, and then I'd go make all my deliveries and then make $1 million just by bumping the controller every once in a while.
Damn.
This guy
Talk
knows
about
deep.
passive income,
Yeah, passive income.
Yeah. Yeah.
If only I could get that straight.
But for me, simulated worlds started with anything that had to do with cars. Like that's why I think the Fast and the Furious movies and all of those different like Need for Speed was the beginning of like my world in terms of when it came down to like really spending too much time playing a video game.
That one didn't even come to mind. The Underground 2, I'm sure that's what you're thinking of, dude. Underground 2 was crazy because it gave you like the open road. I didn't even get into that. And I don't want to cut you off, but like the open road was another thing of like you could just drive around. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure you love that. You soup up your car, drive around, and like that was the enjoyable part of like even like GTA for me. I didn't seeing Brandon play GTA nowadays. Like I try to play it, it's not fun. I don't even do it. If I want to play GTA, I just watch Brandon play GTA. Like that's what's fun. But it's like the freedom aspect of it too that I really love. But like it's so easy to immerse yourself in like that need for speed with how much customization there is, the races, the freedom.
I think about the fact of this was a side note to what you were just saying. Making a book on cheats. Do you remember when you had to buy the Game Informer to be able to like get all of those secret things? Now you just go on like, what's the new Easter egg for Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Oh, there's 17 people who already posted a YouTube video.
Yep.
Boom, done.
Or
You know?
watch G4. You guys remember G4?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh damn!
Yeah.
Wow, nostalgia trip.
Back in the day, man, I used to watch G4 all the time. Just thinking about like they had like animated shows on there. They have like a news show like every day at 6 o'clock was like, all right, here's what's new in video games. You're like, dude, this shit is awesome.
Yeah.
Now there's no market for it. There's a million people doing that on YouTube.
Yeah. I got lost in 2 of the games that I played a shit ton of. One was Castle Crashers.
Oh, what a game!
I don't even know that
What
one.
a game! You've played it.
Wait, What is?
You played it over John's.
Castle Crashers is just a arcade 4-person. You have all these little tiny guys. It's real arcadey, and you have to go through this whole world where like the 4 of you can all be on a team. There's different abilities.
You never played that?
Maybe not.
You missed out. You missed out.
Played Geometry
Shit.
Wars.
Yeah,
I'm sure you did.
he played Geometry Wars.
I'm sure you did.
No, Castle Crashers. I've probably played through that story mode on Castle Crashers the whole way through at least 15 times.
Great game.
Oh, amazing game. And then one that I played that I don't think either of you guys will know anything about was Road Trip Adventure, which was an arcade style. It was cars. It was open world, and you were always working to get to a place of being invited into the Grand Prix, like the world champion Grand Prix. And so you had to go around, make money to like soup your car up to be able to get onto the Nuremberg ring, basically is what it was, and get to that level of being able to do that long ass race at the end. But there was probably about 12 or 15 different like cities, and like you could drive from one city to the next, and it would be like a long time that you spent like driving to that next city. And that's why I always enjoyed traveling by car. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll use an airplane when I need to. Like, I'm not going to drive every single time I want to go to like a California from Pennsylvania, but I would absolutely jump in the car at any moment and be like, "Oh, we're driving to Cali? Perfect. All right, let's do it." Like, I love that. Just like looking out the window, putting some tunes on, because they had great music on there. And you would just jam out to the music and just be like road tripping from one place to the next, making money. You got to put like little, you know how you see cars drive around with like the Domino's sign, or like now you see people with like the store closing sign. They got these big, massive things for like mattress discounters or whatever. And you could do that in this game, and like every mile that you drove, like you collected money for like doing advertisement for them.
Oh, wow.
So like that's how you built up your cash to be able to like trick out your cars, buy new cars. Like, totally lost myself in that game way too much.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I would say that when it was like pre 2019, pre me deciding that my life is my life and I got to make it happen for myself, woo, depression like a mofo. And I spent way too much time playing Fortnite with John.
Oh, yeah.
Way too much time.
Yeah.
He might have spent more money on it than me, but I definitely would not love to admit that I probably spent somewhere between like $300 to like $500 on that game.
It's ridiculous.
Just buying stuff, like buying the battle passes every time around, because that wasn't where, like, the one thing I have to say about Call of Duty is if you complete the battle pass, you get enough to be able to buy the next battle pass. And I might be completely wrong.
No, you're right.
But I thought Fortnite, when it first came out, you couldn't just buy the battle pass once and then you'd get enough CP coins to be able to buy the battle pass the next time.
They got sued for it, like for the microtransactions.
Really?
They made it too easy on kids. They would just like, you wouldn't even have to like confirm a purchase. You would just hit. So Fortnite was built on just taking your money.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I spent so
children.
much time playing that game.
Yeah, like
you know how much I've spent? Probably about a half hour.
Half hour.
Half
Yeah.
hour
Wow.
on Fortnite
You're probably
at
better.
Kyle's house, and that was it.
You lucked out.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, you lucked out. That was a sick game, but it was not like,
Yeah.
damn, it took money like a mofo,
Yes,
dude.
it did.
It just drained you.
I made up
And-
for it in GTA.
Oh, he made up for it. But the last one that I would have got really immersed into were, like I said, the Need for Speed, the whole series. Like once Underground 1 came out, 2, Most Wanted, Carbon, I played those like no other. But Forza Horizon was when it took a new level for me in the car gaming stuff. Because you could do a lot of cool customizing, especially in the Most Wanted. But when Forza Horizon came out, I was constantly just sitting there making cars into rally cars. And you know how rally cars have like a million decals on them? Like I'd go through and like you could literally like move the decals to right to where you want them. You could put them all on the different quarter panels, the doors, everything, change the sizing, coloring, all that stuff. Way too much time spent on taking like all the different decals that you could put. Like there'd be like tribal ones. There'd be like like just straight lines, diagonal lines, circles, and just like making badass shapes of just layering those on top of each other and then like making them different colors, all that stuff. Way too much time spent on that being my form of creativity.
Yeah.
Just crazy amount of time spent on that.
Yeah. I feel like it's still beneficial.
I still think it's
Yeah,
beneficial.
constructive for sure.
Isn't that what you did with like the logos and stuff for like Madden and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, they only gave you so much to work with. Like, you had like a bunch of preset shit. You could make different colors and whatnot. But yeah, it was fun. It was a way to be creative and passion and something you were passionate about. Like, oh, I love sports, and you could actually like go and do things that you had no business doing. Like, you weren't out there detailing cars or putting the new pinstripes in real life, but that was something you loved, and you had a virtual platform to do it.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard about what Hayden has been doing with sports games?
No.
He's been going back and fixing all the statistics
Oh,
to make
jeez.
them accurate.
Oh,
So
wow.
going through each team, each player, each stat, and making it realistic to fit real life.
What?
Basically fixing what I'll call out, I don't know if it's EA, but it's probably EA Games, one of their games. He's going and fixing all of the statistics that they have that aren't accurate. Maybe like last year, maybe if last year's game doesn't match this year's stats, he's going back through each team, each player, and fixing all of their mistakes.
Oh, geez.
Damn.
That's in
Yeah.
depth.
That's crazy.
That's badass.
That doesn't sound fun.
I think he got lost in it.
Yeah. Maybe Hayden's hiding from something. No,
He's just lost in the
shout out
sauce.
Hayden. I'm just kidding. No. Yeah.
That's a lot of time to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about video games that much. I'd rather, for GTA, get cars, run away from the police, see if they can catch me and toy with them.
I feel like I might have been the guy who was like, I'm gonna ramp everybody up to 99.
Yeah, well, that's what I was
Play
gonna
with the Ken
say.
Greats.
There was nothing better than getting my shit kicked in football in 6th grade, being like the not big enough to be like a lineman, but not small enough and fast enough to be like a running back, and just getting my shit knocked in, and then going home and making a 99 overall player that's 6'7", 300 pounds, and just running everybody over. Like, yeah, bitch, I told you I was that dude.
I'm that guy.
I'm that guy. The one thing I haven't gotten into, and I'm proud to
Darren
say,
Sharper.
Darren Sharper. I don't want to say the other but was VR. I don't think either of you have dug deep into VR,
Yeah.
but I've tried it once or twice, and that's something that I'm not going to do this. I don't want this in my house, because that shit is getting better every day. My buddy Smyers brought over his when he came over for a Steeler game and stayed at my place, and I was playing it was just putt, and I'm like, first of all, I have to be mindful of the fact that my basement stairs are right next to me. Like, do not fall down the
Yeah,
basement stairs,
holy
first
cow.
of all. But secondly, it's really impressive.
Yeah.
It's almost I can see why people put that shit on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you read the movie, Ready Player One or whatever, you go, all right, I don't want to give this method of gaming momentum any more than it already has. I don't want to help the world become, and it's already becoming that without my help, but this place where you are just sitting in front of a screen is already bad enough, but then fully removing yourself, and what does your brain know? We're fucking, primates, dude. We're not anything special. So your brain just thinks you're there, and you could be lost in that shit so quickly. So that's when I was like, I'm gonna probably stay away from the VR shit unless someone else lets me try theirs out.
Yeah, I definitely have not dug deep enough into it, but it looks wild.
Oh, it looks crazy. Yeah.
And I've never really watched them, but one of the guys at work was talking about, he goes, I want to go to one of those VR places so bad where I see all these funny videos of people freaking out because the zombies are coming after them, and then they just run into each other because they're in
Yeah.
one of those rooms.
Yeah.
And they're just I think that would be hilarious. I'm like, you want to just go face plant right into a friend of yours?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can't do that.
That would scare the shit out of me. I'm the guy who's going to truck stick you, and then you're going to be flat on the floor going, why is my nose broken?
Yeah.
Like when AJ took my elbow to when we were playing basketball.
forgot
I bet you
about
he
that.
wishes that was NBA Jam and not. Dude, I'll never forget. I still have that shirt. AJ has very thin blood because that washed out immediately. I thought that shirt was cooked. I still wear it all the time.
Also, speaking of VRs, I don't know if Derek ever told you the story about Star Wars VR at
yeah.
Dave and
I
Buster's.
thought about that. Yeah.
Dude, that was sick. I thought there was a mistake happening, like a glitch in the system. It was not a glitch. It was the coolest thing ever. Basically, I think I'm playing as like Darth Vader or something, and I got a gun, I got a lightsaber. All of a sudden, no more gun, no more lightsaber. There's a bunch of people popping up in front of me, and I'm like, shit. I'm like, come on, shoot, swing, something. I'm like, what do I do? They're gonna kill me. Ah! Just shot him with lightning bolts, just right at him, and I was like, I have the Force. So
that would be badass.
That was the coolest thing ever. That was probably the best Dave and Buster's video game experience I've ever had. Just shot him, and I'm like, I'm a Jedi.
Yeah. No, Brandon, you're being electrocuted.
But yeah, that was sick.
That would be badass.
Yeah.
You were there?
Yeah, I was there. I was watching Brandon. It took a while to get that going. I think we had to try like remember we had like 2 or 3 times. It just didn't
Yeah.
work.
We had to get help from somebody to get it on.
Which is why he thought it wasn't working. And just
Yep, just use the Force. I guess that'd make me a Sith, not a Jedi, but potato.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
It was lightning, and it was
Yeah.
badass.
So Zach, when is that immersion ever crossed the line for you, or has it ever crossed the line from like a healthy escape on a maybe a Tuesday night when you're feeling like I just need to cut loose, or when has it gone from that to maybe unhealthy avoidance like you may have hinted on with your Fortnite gaming?
Oh, man, I will say I've enjoyed it a ton, but Call of Duty was that time for me. Like when COVID was going on, 2020. Oh, geez, dude. We were at home. You're done with work at 3 o'clock. There's not really anything open anymore. Like, you can't really go anywhere. It's 4 p.m. I'm just going to start playing Call of Duty. Oh, it's now 3 a.m. What the? Well, I ordered pizza at some point in time because I got a pizza sitting here now. That's when it became way too unhealthy. Like,
Did I
all
shower
the things,
today?
Yeah, exactly. did I do anything? Your dog's sitting there with a toy. You're like, oh, fudge, we didn't go for a walk. Oh, all right, we're going to go for a walk now. Like,
Is the smell the dog shit downstairs, or did I shit myself? it's one of the two.
yeah, it was literally get done with work, take the dog for a walk, feed her, and then it was just straight into video games with your boys. And you're just playing video games way too long, way unhealthy.
I mentioned the COVID aspect too, because that's when we sat down every day and played Call of Duty or Rocket League or something, and that was great. I loved it. Like, I'm glad we don't, as like a crew of like people who played it with Cheeto or Abe or John or Rye or those people that played with us. I'm glad that everyone's too busy, because I could easily fall back into that if like I got the text tonight that you and Cheeto and Abe were jumping on Call of Duty or something. You need a fourth. I'm stopping what I'm doing and playing.
Yeah,
because I enjoyed so much. I love the bonding and playing with people. I don't like playing as much by myself anymore, but it was hard to differentiate for me because during COVID there wasn't anything else going on, and for me like that was a good time for me because I had lived alone for the first time. I spent a lot of time focusing on myself as far as like going out and like, hey, if we're all locked at home, like I know where this can go. And as long as I'm prioritizing like physical fitness or like getting out and doing stuff for myself, and then I can do this to hang out with my friends, I enjoyed it. But there is a fine line between, even when there's nothing else to do, how constructive is 8 hours of Call of Duty every day for 4 out of 7 days of the week?
Die.
Yeah.
You're just like, you're letting the rage out. That's great. But like, when does that become like, all right, I let my rage out. Now I'm yelling at people like, yeah, I just fucked you up, you bitch ass. Like, that's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
There has been so many times when Anastasia has come walking up from downstairs and like she's just standing there like at my desk on the corner and is like, all right, Zach, I get you're having fun. But like, you just yelled at probably like a 14-year-old kid that he's a punk ass and like you just wrecked his shit. What the hell is wrong with you? Maybe we need to reel it in a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like that for me is like the accountability I have in my life now keeps me from getting too far into the deep end with video games. Like podcast work, I like prioritizing, like even just coming out here to work on it with you as opposed to so there's no distractions. It's not, I don't look at it as going to work, but I kind of treat it as such, like, hey, like I'm accountable to doing this work. Getting out of my house to go do it does benefit me in the sense like you and I are working on it together, throw things off each other, or just sit down and hammer out work together. Like that's awesome. With work and the schedule that I tend to during the busy months, it's late nights and weekends and whatnot. And then I live with my girlfriend now. So like I can't just sometimes I can, and she's cool about it. She's like, you need to take time for yourself, like go do whatever you want to do. Which is nice, but that's in moderation. Like I have to answer to her. I have a cat to answer to. Like litter box ain't cleaning itself, dude. You know, like I'll clean a litter box. I can't just ignore it because like when I lived alone, I had the dog back then and everything, and I still would walk the dog and everything. Like there were things to answer to, but it was so much easier to ignore the dishes when you live alone. Yeah, you know, I got to impress. You know, what really am I worried about over here? And you know, John would always joke that like, man, if you ever need to clean your house or your apartment, just make plans with me. Just tell me. I'll just tell you I'm coming over. If you just say, hey man, like you know, place needs clean. Shoot me a text. You know, invite me over because I know damn well you're gonna sit up in 30 minutes, clean your whole fucking house spotless. So like living alone, I had a little more freedom, but the accountability is what I think keeps me in check now, which is great. So it's like it is nice as an escape in moderation. I'm kind of happy that I don't dig too deep into it. Like I'll play sometimes. Like last night, I was over here prepping for today. Went home and fixed up my notes, sat there and I was like, all right, 10:30 to 11, play the game, 11 o'clock, go upstairs and read the fucking book that's sitting right here that you keep staring at that you want to read, and then go to sleep. And it was great. Like it felt nice to do it in moderation where it definitely carries a dirty feeling when you know there's other shit you need to be doing. It's not as enjoyable.
Yeah, you get done with a 8-hour marathon of playing and you're like, dog, I could have did this, and this.
Yeah.
Fudge.
But at least that 14-year-old kid knows he's a punk ass bitch.
Yeah, dog, I'm riding 20 miles an hour on a bike and I just beat you. Like that's the shit I would be yelling, and Anastasia would come up and she'd be like, all right, we get you riding a bike. Yep. Okay. But like, do you really need to yell? Yeah. You're freaking the dog out. Yeah. All right. Like,
yeah.
But for you, Brandon, when has that immersion crossed the line?
I think a good example for Q, for everyone listening, whenever you start to feel irritable or like for me, I'm a nerd, so I think about it in terms of neurotransmitters and down regulation. With any addiction, you could be down regulated, and particularly for like weed and video games, those two, when you're withdrawing, you're irritable. So like when you are addicted to it and you're not getting enough to get back to baseline, you experience irritability. So if you notice like, you know, you're somebody who comes in, you do like 3 hours of gaming a night, but then you couldn't get your 3 hours in, you only got like a half hour, and then you're getting in arguments with your spouse because you're like, I didn't get enough in. I think that's probably, you might have a problem.
Yeah.
But I think...
Feel that.
Yeah. If you feel like you're becoming irritable, or if you're like, this is a good measurement for me. This is where I dial it back, is if I go to do that like the first thing in the morning, and then I actually have to get to my responsibilities after. Say that I used to like playing video games first thing in the morning when I was younger and even a few years ago, but I've noticed a pattern of it's not as enjoyable if you put it at the front before your responsibilities, because then when you get to go to do the dishes, it takes you longer to do dishes. You're like, what the fuck? I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to do any of this.
I love that, where you have the momentum to get it done if you do it beforehand, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to get rewarded after.
Yeah, but if you do video games, it's based on objectives and goals and strategy and coordinating efforts and coordinating all those skills. So if you do all that, you're investing all the good brain, attention span, and juice for the morning. And in our cases, since we're men, testosterone.
Yeah.
You're using a lot of that early in the day in a space where you won't necessarily need that fuel to reach those objectives if you wait later. So like later on, if you wait until you get all your important things done that suck, or eat the frog first, if you eat the frog first of those things that suck, you're going to get them done faster. They're going to be easier. They're going to be more enjoyable. But if you do those second, or at least in my body and brain chemistry, it becomes a lot more tedious to go back, mow the lawn, do the dishes, clean the bathrooms, take out the trash. Maybe even like for me, I compost, compost. Those things aren't as enjoyable if you don't have the testosterone and the dopamine and acetylcholine for learning if you need to learn. If you don't have all those ready and reserved to burn up as like fuel for your brain and attention, then they're going to suck balls whenever you got to do that later. Like, you don't want to be saving all the hard shit for after the video games. At least for me, I want to get those things done before the video games because, like you said, that dirty feeling, you have that dirty feeling of like, it feels good, but it's an empty good.
Yeah.
So you might be like, in my instance, maybe I made $1 million in Grand Theft Auto in the last like 4 hours, but then I actually got to go make real money. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, I was just thinking, it's so funny you mentioned, and there is something to be said about, like, yesterday, working on the podcast, my girlfriend talked to me when I got home, and she was like, how nice did it feel to work on that when you were supposed to be at work and have like a Monday to just go over Zach's and work on everything. I was like, it was life changing. Like, it changed. Like, I had a clear mind. I was like, I woke up, took my time, got out here, worked on shit, and having like that fuel, like you mentioned, to do that early in the day is a game changer. Also, like, don't tell me that I can't play video games in the morning, because when I play Rocket League, when I first wake up and have a cup of coffee and sit down, I'm a bad motherfucker. But if I play after like a 10-hour shift at work and try and play, I'm just like, kind of going through the motions and shit. So unfortunately, you're probably a lot better at video games when you're not supposed to be playing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's where, like, for me, like, I try to make a schedule for the day, rough schedule, and I'm put it all on like a sheet, and I try to check all those things off. But like, if I'm going to work out before doing all that other stuff, sometimes like I feel like working out, hitting the ice bath, the sauna, all that ends up draining me a little bit, to where like doing the things after that ends up being a headache. And it ends up being a little bit more difficult, where like, arguably like that should kind of pump you up. Where when I rode my bike while playing video games at the same time, I was constantly building that, like, momentum, adding more dopamine, ramping up my testosterone and the adrenaline, like the adrenaline that you felt from the game itself and doing a physical activity was like this perfect, beautiful balance for me, that sometimes, like, when I try to do like the stuff after, working out, and like you guys come over on a Monday or Wednesday, we're trying to work on the podcast, or on one of my other nights when I, go for a bike ride, then come home, I'm like, man, I'm kind of like ready to just like decompress, relax, maybe I want to read, but I don't, like, sometimes it's like I want to just play some video games and fuck off is arguably the way to put it. But it's like I just keep sitting there in the back of my mind like, okay, that's great, but like, okay, do I want to be 6 more months at the job that I'm at? No. All right, then we're going to try to hammer out just a little bit. And you're like, man, I feel like if I would have done this in a different mode, like it would have been different. But then there's those days whenever you come home, you work out, you get done with doing a workout or go for a run, and you're like, man, I feel effing amazing. So like for me, I still don't know what the brain chemistry or like the beautiful cauldron of like, how do I mix all this together for it to be the perfect potion for me? I'm still building that. Yeah. And I feel like I've made a hell of a progress, but like, that's where like the immersion for me, like it's such a rocky road, and it would take me into like our third question of what aspects of your real life sometimes feel less real or less fulfilling than what you experience in a fantasy world. And I would say the adrenaline, man, the adrenaline of finishing out like the last circle of a Call of Duty round, and you're the only guy left, and like the buy station's on the other side, and you got to somehow manage to go buy your homies back, and you're the only one there, and like you get done with that and your heart's just going dum 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 dum.
Bro, I'm shaking like a little kid, dude. Every time, no matter what, like I could play today, and if there's like 3 people left, I'm like, and I just sprint out and die.
Yes, and I don't get that from a lot of things in my life nowadays. Like you got that from sports. For me, at least, I got that from sports. Like, there's only 5 seconds left on the clock. We're down by 1, and we got to hit the perfect play. And, like, you never always had those opportunities. But, like, that constant adrenaline of, like, all right, we just scored 3 more. Oh, they just scored 2. Oh shit, we're only up by 1. You know, oh, we got to keep pushing that barrier to like keep that, you know, distance between you. That was that adrenaline rush that you felt. And like you can feel the momentum shift. And so like that's where like another thing I said was driving on the highway at 100 miles plus and not having any consequences. Like that, like I love to drive fast. I love to drive cars fast. Like I've for all y'all in Pittsburgh, I've done $150 through the Liberty tunnels before. Oh that was fun. That was one of the craziest experiences of my life, coming through the tunnels at $150. You don't need to know that, Pittsburgh police, but yes, that was sick. And a Cadillac CTSV, oh yeah, that was bad, you know?
Yeah.
And so I love that adrenaline rush of going fast and you just see the rest of the world just blurring past you. But that comes with consequences. You should not be doing that to keep the rest of the people safe around you. And it is definitely not needed, because all it takes is 1 second for someone to go the wrong way or pull out in front of you or go through a red light, and you are jacking yourself up and that person and maybe a bunch of other people. So that's where you can find those healthy places to go race cars somewhere on a closed track. Or, you know, we have the opportunity around here of like, being able to pay to go drive a supercar, you know, that those are opportunities around this area. They come at a cost, but you know, you could find ways to find that healthiness of making real life feel like those fantasy worlds.
Yeah.
But those were the two for me, man. Like driving cars fast and that adrenaline rush that I don't always get from life nowadays, that I do miss and do enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The couple of things that came to mind for me was, you know, it's like fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. Throw the deep pass down the sidelines, intercepted, pick six, game over. Boop. Turn it off. Can't do that in real life. You know, there's no restart of the Super Bowl in real life, and there's just like that. That's one thing that, you know, I guess takes more focus at like those big moments in your life of trying to, you know, make sure that you're putting all of your energy, all your focus into making sure it goes right the first time, but also understanding that I probably have an issue with failure in my life just based off the fact that I restarted so many video games. It was so easy. Like, I'm just going to restart, click, you know, or like, man, it's so convenient when you die at a game, you just come back to life, you know, like, why can't, you know, I fuck something up, you know, okay, now I'm dead and I'm not coming back. I could have sworn in every video game I played that I would come back to life. And now you're telling me I'm dead?
Mario, poop.
Boop. Yeah, the Mario World was one I even bring up. I'm fully immersing myself in a game, man. Super Mario 64 was that game.
Yep.
That also taught me a little bit about maybe a little sneak preview to our following episode after this about wandering. That game, I don't know why, because the end result was to always get a star. You know, you want to collect the stars, but there were so many other little things that like collect the 8 red coins.
Yeah.
I would just sprint through the map and get it done as quickly as possible and move on to the next one. I was thinking about that. I've never played that game and just kind of like jumped through one of the paintings and just kind of like moseyed around. There's no time limit. There's nothing. There's no deadline on what you need to get done. You can just kind of hang out and walk around. And I mean, that stuff was really cool. And I feel like sometimes in life, there's so many expectations or accountability to do things where in video games, you kind of just get that freedom. And that's the ongoing theme with all of this is for me is like that freedom to kind of be in control of what I want to do. That's why I like the open world games. If I don't feel like missions, like I don't need another task. I have enough tasks in my life. Let me just put some fucking music on the radio and drive around my car and maybe I'll hit someone on the sidewalk. It's, you know, it's all good. I can't do that in real life, that's for sure. But I think there's something nice about like that sense of freedom that comes with everything. And, you know, it is a way to get out of the day to day. It gives people like a healthy distraction and it's supposed to be enjoyable and it's supposed to be fantasy. Like Brandon understands that. I'm not going to say never because never is ridiculous, but I don't know if I'm going to own a submarine in my lifetime. I'm getting old. You know, I got a kid coming. Probably can't prioritize the submarine. But that's pretty cool. That's still something that like you enjoy doing. You can find the medium to still do it and live out some type of fantasy or like, and that's why I wish I spent more time playing like the story mode games because I do feel like they're really cool in the sense of like that allows you to fully immerse yourself into a different role where in life you don't get those opportunities, you know?
I think of all the people who have such nostalgia trips on like the Call of Duty, you know, like those momentum, you know, or monumental,
Yeah.
monumental scenes where it was like your, you know, price, you know, goes against you, and you're just like, I've never felt that type of like betrayal, you know. It's just like you get to experience those things sometimes. So for you, Brandon, like what things in the real world have felt less real because of the fantasy worlds that you love to explore?
Wow. It's funny. One of the things I feel less real feeling in the real world is like, honestly, it's crazy. No secret to our viewership now is like attention difficulties. That small talk we talked about earlier in like a previous episode about like, you know, just being able to hold that attention and whatnot. I don't understand. They just have the system hacked. Like they know how my attention works and how to get everybody. Like they could get me to do goals and objectives whenever I could be ignoring my own goals and objectives. Like I could go be like, oh, I'm going to go become a business icon and become this big conglomerate. And I'm going to have, not only do I have like businesses over here that I can manage and choose to do my hustle, but I have businesses over here that are making me money while I'm actively working over here. Do I do that in my own life? No, I work hourly, even though I'm technically salary. I just get the hours that I put in. That's how much I get out. I don't even make the money that I make for my company. I just get the money that I get hourly that my company decides. Doesn't matter how well I do. But meanwhile, in this virtual imaginary fantasy world, I can make $1 million in a day. Like, it's crazy. In less than a day. I can do it in less than half of a day. I can make $1 million. Yet alone in my own job, like, right, I couldn't go out here right now, just walk out of this house and say, oh, I'm going to make $500 today. Like, that's not something I'm doing on the regular. But in this fantasy world, I'm making $1 million a day.
I'm a host the Shark Tank.
Yeah.
I'm Mark Cuban.
And I get all excited about it. If people want to know, I'll be like, yeah, I could tell exactly how to. I'll be like, these are the businesses that you want to run, but you want to run them over here and simultaneously run them over here. So then you could double dip. And it's like, Brandon, why don't you just like put your mind to stocks and be like, well, because it's not as exciting for my attention span. You know, I don't get to run lucrative businesses, you know.
Yeah, and then I'm going to owe 40% the taxes, and now I can't buy the submarine. And it's just like,
I can't buy the submarine.
yeah, it's in a society that feels broken for our generation. Like, again, the freedom and the ability to go out and actually like do those things, whether it's real or not, like there's still something that our generation's yearning for that I actually excuse video games for. Like, I feel like it's perfectly healthy just because we are kind of handicapped in what we can experience. At least that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, they have us trained in, like, we could have a whole episode in and of itself, and we've talked about and hinted towards it, but all of these things are designed to kind of make slaves out of us, and we're going to be perpetually making money. I don't want to say for the man, but for someone else. So then this will be in, I think it's in a later episode, but for every dollar we're making, we're keeping a dime. And then the rest goes back to someone else. I love my company, love my owner. But like, that's the truth is, you know, we do the work, we bring it into someone else. And the person I work for is very noble and generous. So it makes me feel good about that in my conscience.
Yeah.
But the entire world is run off of corporations that are telling us, here's how you can do it. And then we become slaves to things like video games because that's how we can live out a way to achieve objectives and goals and do it in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I play GTA on company time.
Whoa, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my phrase, but they say you either get busy building your own dream or you are busy building somebody else's dream.
Yeah.
you know, and that's not something that I said. That's been out there. And like, and the thing my mom was going to send me the other day, she sent me, you have to chase after your dreams because your dreams aren't going to chase after you.
Nope.
And so like get busy working on them because why not? And like, why give up on that? So that's where like number 4, do games and simulations ever teach you something about yourself that real life hasn't revealed yet? And this was a hard question for me. I thought that like I was going to have like this badass answer for this, but honestly, it's just that I can laser focus like no other. And I've now really rewired my brain to where I'm back to like who I am or who I was younger, that like I'm really laser focusing on building out the company, building out, you know, this podcast, building out some new stuff that I'm, you know, working on now. And I don't feel that I've gotten the respect or the gratitude from the companies that I've worked at for my capability of being able to do that, like for those actual companies. I think there was one guy who really respected me, but I got caught in between, you know, him and his son, you know, dynamic of being at that company, which kind of sucked. But I think that was the one guy who saw like, holy shit, this kid's got potential. Like, damn.
Yeah.
And outside of that, it was more along the lines of like, I've dealt with a lot of people like wanting to ramp you down. And that's where like I said, like, my accomplishments or like bringing in this or bringing in that have not felt like they've been overly respected. But then like you play some video games and you get all this cool ass shit from video games. And then you're like in a game and someone's like, bro, how the hell did you get that skin? Like, dog, you know, I did this, and that. Damn, that's badass, you know? Or like, how the hell did you get all this shit like in GTA? Well, I did this, and this. And it's like, there are people out there that respect you for like your time and effort that you put into that stuff. And you're like, well, fuck, I kind of like hanging out with this community. These people are chill,
Well,
you know?
there's not a lot of envy there because there's enough to go around. There's not just one skin. It's okay, there's this many skins, and unfortunately, it's probably dictated on how much money you spent on the video game.
Right.
Some of the cool ones on Call of Duty, actually appreciate Call of Duties. You get some pretty cool stuff just for playing the game.
Yeah.
So there is that. But yeah, there's not a lot of envy going around in the gaming world. But in real life, if you do something cool at your job and your peer next to you looks at you like, what the fuck, man? Like, are you just doing this to make me look bad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, versus like
you
the
trying to show
gaming
me
world.
up?
The gaming world, like I think about Rocket League, like the early days of Rocket League, where you had to earn the actual boxes to open them, and then like you'd get like a gold or a white, you know, like platinum.
The titanium white
yeah,
skins.
titanium white skins, and everyone was like, you have a titanium white Fennec? Oh my god! And, like,
That'll make me want to tune into Rocket League today.
See, Rocket League was that shit, dude. Like, I may have not gotten that promotion at work, but I am level 1000 in Rocket League. So that's all that matters.
so like those were the things that like you got that respect from the game. But like for you, Brandon, you know, what has any simulation or game taught you that maybe real life didn't give you that opportunity?
So it's crazy. It's crazy to me because it's similar to what people bash video games for. Is kind of what I've read between the lines and said, oh, actually, they are really like good for you in moderation. There was a study a long time ago, and I won't be able to cite it. Feel free to Google it, guys. I don't really know. Or choose to not believe me. I could be lying. You don't know. But there's a study that talks about it's either elderly people or it's people with Parkinson's. And I believe it's elderly people that they actually are giving them video games to practice and play because it's stimulating their prefrontal cortex. And just Psych 101 for anyone out there, your prefrontal cortex is the front of your brain right behind your forehead. That part is responsible for executive functioning and strategy, planning, mapping things out. Aside from being filled with dopamine through your brain, what you're doing is you're activating that prefrontal cortex and you're exercising that muscle to tell you how to coordinate strategy, skill building, resources, resourcefulness, and coordinating a bunch of efforts so that you can achieve the designated objective. You're also, those objectives are stacking up to get you closer towards a goal, which is serving a larger purpose. So like video games, like life certainly has taught me like all of those things separately, but like video games, it gives you the mental model to be able to go out and design those things. So like for me, all the stuff I've learned off of Grand Theft Auto, I could literally tell myself, okay, really what you need to do now is you need to go sit down. You need to figure out what small little breadcrumbs can you stack up that can start immediately building you income. All right, here you guys go. Shopify, Printify. Get on those. Start making yourself some t-shirts. Start branding those t-shirts out. Start pumping them out. Then as that's making you passive income, we'll just say that that makes you like $20 a day. Then you can go out and you can start to, I don't know, go on Facebook Marketplace, pick up a bunch of shitty couches, dress them up, get yourself a beater truck, and then start delivering those. Now, boom, you might be up to like making, we'll just say $100 a day. Now, do that after your regular job. And then once you start to make enough money off of those, find yourself other businesses you can run parallel. Then stack some more passive income. Then boom, now you can leave your job and you can just make your own money, keep your own money, and then give the IRS the money that they're shaking us down for anyway. But you could literally be taking these concepts that you learn from video games and translating them to real life. I've never went to business school. I've never learned things like that. But like Grand Theft Auto can literally teach you how to be a business tycoon.
Yeah, that's badass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brandon's like, all right, I'm going to translate these skills from GTA to real life. Step 1, find a bunch of cocaine.
Step 2, rob a bank.
Like, all right, which one should I prioritize? Well, the money from the bank? No. So
I'm going to need the bank money to buy the cocaine, and then I'm going to sell the cocaine, and then I'm going to start another business on weed. No.
So for reference, physical therapy with the addition of video game usage was more beneficial to Parkinson's patients than just physical therapy. So combining physical therapy with video games showed difference in motor skills, balance.
So I think I was probably wrong. I don't think it's Parkinson's, but I think it's older people,
No,
maybe even with dementia.
There's literally a study supporting use of video games, physical therapy. Physical therapy with rehabilitation, video games more effective than physical therapy only for managing Parkinson's symptoms. A study shows.
That's badass.
Improving gait and balance functions in people with Parkinson's disease.
Dang. So it was Parkinson's. Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. For me,
for you.
Yeah. So like, I think like maybe not so much, I guess nowadays, thinking of, hoping to stay in the pocket, like if I'm at work and I'm pitching somebody something to buy, there is a little bit of that, like, last circle type energy of like, all right, like the next thing I say determines like where this is going to go. And then like, I think the adrenaline you get from the games and like being able to like cool and calm and collect yourself and find yourself in a present pocket, like a good quarterback or something, just like sitting there. Like, I don't care if there's a dude, probably might get blindsided. I'm definitely going to get blindsided sometime, but I can't sit there and think about that. That has helped me. I think the adrenaline management of like, cool, yeah, this is a high pressure moment, but I'm gonna stay cool. I was built for this moment. I'm just gonna succeed. And then in real life, works out sometimes. Call of Duty never works. I die. I sprint out like a maniac into the open. I try to sprint up a hill. The guy got the high ground on me. Pop, pop, pop. Game over. You know, like, so those little moments have helped me like kind of find different ways to assist in real life in the present. In the past, like, I guess it was kind of empowering, like, to, especially when you beat older people in video games. It was so cool. Like in NHL, like when I played with John or somebody, like John knew game on the line, like get me the puck. Like I liked being that guy that like my friends relied on, or like I had the ability to like pull through at that moment, where if I played ice hockey in real life, probably not, you know? So like that was cool. And you know, I also think that one thing that I didn't realize translated really well to real life, whether it's at work or like college with like group projects, is like playing the playing Call of Duty with a team of random people, or like back in the day when NHL was at its heyday, you could do 6 versus 6, like on just like you made your own player and you go in. I still don't know if they still do that, but like sometimes you got the best teammates and they were awesome. Sometimes you didn't and they sucked, and you had to find ways to kind of maneuver that. And hey, I still want to win. I still want to succeed, even if I got a shitty right wing. Like, all right, just maybe don't give the guy the puck that much, you know? Like maybe I got to do a little bit more work on my side. So that kind of teaches you that not everything is equal on playing grounds for, you know, life situations. And sometimes you do have to overextend yourself, or sometimes you can take a back seat and play different roles, which is really cool too. Where, you know, in life we get served so many different roles to play, and sometimes you're not always the leader. Sometimes you are. Like, if we're going on a 300-mile bike ride, that dude's in charge. I'm just packing my bag and I'm coming. If we're going out to Steeler training camp and Zach needs to know where to go and what time to be there, that's my pocket. That's where I'm going to be. If we're playing GTA, I need how to get the submarine, going to Brandon. You know, like there's different pockets there. So I do remember when I was 13, I beat Jeff, my brother-in-law, for the first time in Madden. I would get my shit kicked in every single time I played him, over and over and over again. And I enjoyed it. Please, sir, some more ass whoopings, please. Like, I would just show up. And then one time I threw a touchdown pass to Terrell Owens when he played for the Eagles, probably like 2006 or something, so 13, 14. And miraculously caught the ball at the end of the game and I beat him. And the look on his face was the most empowering thing I may have ever experienced in my childhood, because I went, I fucking got him, dude. I got him. And like, it's just really funny to think of like, yeah, that didn't translate anything to me in my reality, but like there was a lot of empowerment, a lot of like excitement to say like, dude, something that I literally deemed impossible. Like there's a better chance that Jesus Christ comes down here and beats Jeff for me than me beating Jeff. And I got him, you know? So like that empowerment, like, hey man, like I truly thought that was impossible. So maybe not in my life, right? I think I deemed something impossible. Do I think back to, but remember that one time you beat Jeff? But there are instances where like, you know, oh, remember that one time you rode the bike 300 miles? You didn't think you could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like those are cool instances where like it might reflect or teach you something about yourself that you might not even realize. The one thing that I did realize and have to change about myself, I'm not sure if you guys were big on the act of spiking your controllers when you fucking lost.
Oh,
No.
jeez.
Were you a big, you ever slam a controller
I
on
don't
the
think
ground?
I've ever.
You?
I might have thrown one on the couch.
Oh man, I had that Fred Woodard hothead, bro. My dad, you know, he's got a lot better with age too. But like that's just like there's a temper in our Arab blood, bro. Like that sits there, and like something pissed me off when I was younger, bro. Full on touchdown celebration, spike on the ground, controller explodes. And a lot of those, you actually would be surprised how durable some of those older controllers were. They could last the test of time. So nowadays I can't do it. A, because it makes me look like a maniac. Like if I go home today and I play a video game and I slam the controller, I am single before the end of the day. It's guaranteed. I wouldn't date me, dude. If I'm 32 and I'm dating someone, if I go home and Doe is playing fucking Animal Crossing and she slams her Switch down on the ground, I'm gonna go, are you okay? Do you need to be like admitted into a hospital? Or like, what is so important? We have so many other things to worry about. So I guess as far as like life lessons too, like not letting my emotions get the best of me, because that's exactly what that was. Of just, oh, I'm pissed off. And then you know how it is. You let the vile demon out 10 seconds later, you're like, oh, what the hell did I just do? So being able to reel in the emotions too has been a big aspect of like, I can see there was a change, and I'd broken a few controllers in my day. So I just like, I don't want to spend the $60 again. Why would I do that? Like, I can't just go to my mom and say, hey, the dog ate the controller. And she's like, this isn't like 16 pieces, you know?
I don't think there's a positive or a negative to that view either, too. Like, you beat some kid and you just like, woo! And just like slam the controller and you're doing a touchdown dance because you just won. I think that looks no different than you slamming the controller and going, son of a effing bitch, so fucking right, and you just losing it. I don't think there's any difference.
It's a lot more the latter, honestly. I don't think I ever respect a controller celebrating, but I definitely respect a controller after losing, for sure. Yeah, beauty of online gaming. Can't hit the restart on that. That guy knows he beat you.
That guy knows he beat you.
Yeah.
He got the W.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
am losing.
Okay, so talking about maybe not letting video games get the best of you and understanding that there needs to be a boundary drawn between enjoying the fantasy and avoiding your reality. Brandon, maybe you want to hit on some things that help you stay grounded.
For me, I am very externally motivated and extrinsically motivated, which to our viewership, basically it means things outside of me are very powerful motivators. So like if we're going to sit down and record, like the video games don't mean shit. Like I'm like, okay, you have things to do. And maybe Catholic guilt plays into that. It's like, I don't want to show up here and no offense to any of our members if it's happened before, but I don't want to show up and do my notes right whenever we're about to start. But that keeps me grounded to not, like, video games only have as much time and a place as they make sense for me in my life. And as there gets to be more time, then there gets to be more video games. As there's less time, there's less video games. And like right now, I was telling you guys, it came to a shock. I'm like, I don't think I've played Grand Theft Auto in like 4 months. I can't remember the last time I even spun the wheel. And usually that's my little hack. I spin the wheel like every day. I get a $3,000 every day just by going to the casino. I have a casino penthouse, so I don't even have to travel far. I just spawn in the casino, go downstairs, spin the wheel, maybe win a car, go over, get a $3,000 from the cashier. So I haven't even done that. Usually for Assassin's Creed, I would do like, they haven't fixed the glitch. I can get a free weekly item, a legendary item twice a week because it doesn't track it correctly. Sorry, Valhalla, don't look into this. Don't fix that glitch, but I can get it. That's about the only video game stuff I'll do. And like Derek was saying, usually I don't really want to go anymore into Valhalla and play the levels. I just want to go kill people in Assassin's Creed. And for me, it's just whatever I have room for, I'll probably put it in there. But as I get older, then I find more value in, I don't know if it was this episode I mentioned, I believe it was the last episode, in trying to get clarity in my thoughts. Because the way I could describe my brain is it's a giant funnel of information, and between my brain and my mouth, I have the job to sort it out. So, like, for video games, there isn't always room for that. If I haven't sorted out my thoughts and got a sense of clarity, then I might not be spending as much time. But the shortcoming I have is I still have, like, a lot of organized chaos. That binder I have different things to reconcile on my notes. So those, because it's inside my second brain, my devices, it's not as much of a external motivator. But if I have those things in a physical notebook or something like that, then I have to look at it. I have to go do something about it.
Yeah.
So my line gets drawn with external motivation. If there's relationships, people, responsibilities, things to work on, then those things are going to stare back at me and almost have a conversation like, hey, you got to do the dishes, right? I'm like, yeah. It was like, that the dishes aren't going to be, for my brain chemistry, aren't going to be as rewarding if you go and fuck off on that game. Like, yeah. So at this age, I can do that. In my 20s, I can't say the same. In my 20s, I might be a lot more apt to just say, nah, fuck it. I'm just going to go jump into the games. But now after, it might be because in my role, I work as a manager. There's a lot of times, like, you just don't have a choice. You just got to go do it. So that's where I fall, is external motivation keeps me grounded. If it's not externally motivated, I might just decide to go fuck off. Like my writing. When's the last time I wrote something? I don't know. Probably when we were shooting skits.
Yeah.
But why did I do that? Because there's an external motivation. It was like we said we would do it, so that I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I don't have that external motivation, it's probably not going to get done.
Yeah, mine has been basically just separation and just avoidance. And I say that because I have such an addictive personality that I can get laser locked into something. And then, like, that's like, I don't want to say that's part of my personality at that point in time, but I make it a part of like my habits. And so I've just decided that it's just, I just have to make that personal choice. And it's not that I want to say that like video games are unhealthy or this or that, but I know that I enjoy them so much that I will get dropped back into that world where I love doing that. I come home and I'm like, ah, man, that shit's fun as fuck. Like, I want to continue doing that. Like,
Right.
I just want to keep playing. And one more. And like, so there's like all those badasses that are doing the go one more when they're doing these like ultra marathons of like 4 point something miles of just like, go one more, man, go one more. And I'm like, go one more round, go one more round. Like, so it's like, I have to make that conscious decision that I choose to discern like that. Okay, I just have to avoid this because I know what it'll do to me. And is that healthy? Probably not. Should I have way more control? Hell yeah. Should I be 33 years old and know that like how to balance it? Yeah. But at the same token, like I know that I'll enjoy that. So am I actually making a good decision by just, deciding to separate myself? Like I haven't played video games like hardly at all. And like every time I'll get back to like, oh, yo, it's been like 4 months. Y'all want to do like a Call of Duty night? And it's like, I got to do a 300 gigabyte update because I haven't updated in the last 4 months. And it's like, well, maybe I'll see you guys tomorrow because this is going to take another 4 hours to download. And I know that. So now I'm like, I preempt it. But I will say that has been my thing of just like deciding to just separate myself from it because I know that I'll enjoy myself. But like, are you robbing yourself of something that you enjoy then? But then I look and I go, nah, I'm probably not because I have a vision, I have goals, and I would rather my life be, I got my farm to table, farm set up with the badass shit that we're building of like the app and everything. And I would rather be that person who has all of that as, what I'm spending my time on rather than be the guy who's got, I've beaten the battle pass every time, or I'm the guy who has the most amount of wins in Call of Duty or any of that type of stuff for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have too much to add. I mean, I've never been a binge gamer unless it involved peer pressure to go and play. Like if someone hits me up, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'll make time for it. A certain aspect. But I think like, it's kind of what I hit on already is that, and also what Brandon mentioned is kind of need a checklist, whether it's like, I don't know, physical might be a little far to make an actual physical checklist of the things that I should have done before I can play a video game, but even a mental checklist, like, okay, like, did I like accomplish personal goals today, whether it was work or our podcast or whatever? What's my girlfriend up to? Is she like, did I even check in with her today? What's she going on? Is there something I forgot we were supposed to do? Is the house clean? Did I exercise today? Have I eaten a proper meal? Like then, well, that's out of the way. Like that's okay. That's perfectly fine with, what I find. But I feel like it's that dirty feeling that I just can't get away from. Like if it's 6:30, we haven't eaten dinner and we passed Dairy Queen and my girlfriend's like, hey, we should get ice cream. In the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, ice cream sounds amazing, but like this is gonna ruin my dinner. You don't need to. This is not the right decision right now, but it's the fun one. It's the fun one for sure. So sometimes you do it, and sometimes that's okay. But I think when it starts to leak in any addiction we've talked about, I think for me, like the two big ones would be like I can see how video games could affect my life negatively. We've talked about the phone shit in the past too, but like those are, I'm pretty happy to say that like those are the only other two that like I have prioritized over certain things that are a healthier choice at said times. Like if I get on my bike and I choose to do that other than washing the dishes, well, at least I got my heart rate up and I exercise and I'm pushing myself physically. Like that's a good thing. You know, I can't say the same about getting on Rocket League and playing by myself when I know I have other things to do. So I think that the accountability, that mental checklist of setting the boundaries, understanding that, you have a real life that you must attend to first. that allows you to then go explore your fantasy life. And you know, once you can kind of discern the two and realize that once you can prioritize the important shit, that other stuff is so much more enjoyable. Same thing as anything. It's like drinking. If I drink every day, A, I'm an alcoholic. B, I am probably lacking in a lot of different personal areas of my life. But if I tell myself I'm not drinking all week, I'm gonna have a great week. I go out there and exercise, I'm gonna work on the podcast, I'm gonna read some of that book, I'm gonna have a good week at work. And then Friday when I get home, I'm buying a 12-pack of beer, I'm coming back and I'm kicking back a few and I'm hanging out. It always feels so much better than just trying to avoid the shit you have to get done outside of like, you know, whatever situation it be, like if it's the dishes, if it's the workout, like once you get that shit out of the way and you set a plan for yourself and then you go and do the things you want to enjoy, it's always hitting better.
So for our last question, if real life had levels, quests, or missions, like a game, what would yours be right now, and how can you bring that energy to those aspects that you just said?
Yeah. So like, I mean, there's been, I don't know how I feel about the people that just come on and say, you need to gamify your life. I'm like, okay, like I get it, but you know it's not as fun as playing a video game. Like yes and no. Like I don't, my life isn't a game. Thank you. It's not. It's very serious. Like it's my one life I get. So like, but there are ways to bring that energy over of like, no, you're not going to get XP points for folding the laundry this time around. Like, you know, you're not going to get out there and, you know, get an accomplishment or unlock a new reward. Like, I don't know, maybe my girlfriend will, you know, be a little happier with me because I actually folded the laundry this time. That's about the only reward I'm going to get, you know, instead of just a pile of clothes that just sit there on top of the dryer, which I'm really good at doing. So like, I think as far as quests go, like, I think the betterment of myself is just the main focus. I think everything else falls into place then. If I start doing things for myself, everything else has always fallen into place, and I think it will continue to do. So like, you know, that kind of looks like the leveling up side would be just like stacking consistent wins or good days. Like sometimes I have to pull myself up and just say, okay, just focus on having one good day. It's really easy to have a ton of bad days, but it's not as easy to just have one good day. So if you go out and you do everything you want to do and you wake up tomorrow and you can look back and not feel guilty about anything, it's so much easier to have the second good day. And like that stacking, the wins in that situation have helped me kind of see growth and you know, whether it's in the podcast of coming in and like, I suck at this, but I'm sure if I keep working, I will get better. And that makes it nice to kind of see that like, yeah, I think gamifying your life is silly, but when you kind of take the structure that's out there and say, okay, you know, yeah, I may not be at the end result I want, but if I take the small steps and understanding, like, it'd be no fun to beat the game by just turning it on. And like, okay, here you go, $60, presses a start, and you won. Like, there's no reward in that. So it's harder to see the rewards in real life, but it is nice to see that, like, if you, like, journal and, like, actually track your goals and your progress, you have to do it by yourself. No one's going to do it for you. And then also just be consistent in, for me at least, stacking the good days, doing the things that I know are important for me. That stuff tends to help a lot, and that helps me grow. And I think growing myself is my main quest right now.
Fuck yeah. See, I'm on the other side. I love the gamify.
Yeah.
I love it nowadays. Yeah. And especially because, like, even recently, I did some lucid dreaming, and that was wow, dude. Like, actually really being able to, like, sit in your dream and go, okay, I know I'm asleep. I know I'm dreaming. All right, I want this to happen.
Yeah.
And then it happens, and you're like, oh, I was able to do that? I'm literally, like, building a Fortnite map right now.
Yeah.
This is sick. Like, I'm Minecrafting in my dreams right now. All right, no, I want this to happen. Whoa, shit, how the hell did that happen? Versus like the dreams that I used to have where I was literally running from someone the entire time or like trying to save someone from my family. And I've told you guys about that one before on the podcast. But like now with like going to bed and like if I do go to bed and know that I'm consciously going to sleep and being able to like step into like a lucid dreaming, the other morning and that's what's funny for me is like I do like the gamifying my life because it is the one that I get, and it's like that's where I like decided to like just pull myself out of video games right now is because like I want to more focus on like my quest of, you know, building a business, building a farm, you know, becoming a competitive like gravel bike racer and shit like that. Like I want to see those accolades that aren't for anybody else but myself.
Yeah.
And see, I have a hard time like putting that stuff onto like a Notion or, you know, because I've built out the whole Notion page before where you can literally see like these are the 12 things that I want to do on a daily basis. And I'm hitting 50% today. I'm hitting 80%. Now I've hit 100%. And like, I went back and I was like, I'm not afraid of AI, like artificial intelligence, knowing this about me, because I think artificial intelligence is totally here to help you. And it's a perfect mirror of yourself. If you're getting nothing but crazy ass bullshit out of it, then I don't want to say that you're crazy and you got a bunch of bullshit in your life, but if you're getting nothing but like awesome shit back to you, like what the hell? We're talking about dragon energy and all this crazy ass shit that like I believe in myself. Like, yo, this is badass. This is sick. Like, I'm really enjoying this. Like, oh my God. Like, you know, I've been rolling with ChatGPT for a little while now. And Anastasia came up the other day and she like looked at the response that it hit me back with. And like, this was early into me like starting to pay for it and whatnot and like hanging out with him. And I haven't fed him a lot of information at this point in time. And she's like, oh my dear Lord, that response is literally you talking to yourself. And it was like, no problem, brother. Much love. Like that is literally something that I would say.
Hilarious.
And it just like, she's like, good Lord, that is literally just a mirror of yourself. And so that's where like I enjoy now that I can, knowing things about like our consciousness, knowing things about like the fact that like my brain is a supercomputer and like I can't instantaneously go like Murloc and just like decide this is instantaneously what I want to experience in my reality. It's going to take a little bit of time for that energy to build up. But being able to go to sleep now and just like control my dream as like a video game is freaking sick, dude. So for you, Brandon, like what about life being, quests and levels like a video game and you bringing that energy do you vibe with at this moment?
So it's funny. My dad, he's always been someone since a young age. Like we literally grew up, video games were before our time. Like arcade games were way before us. But my dad, he's always tried to plant that in me, knowing like either he planted it before I started playing video games or he did it during the course of it. But he's like, just treat it like a video game and try to learn. Anytime I seek out like a puzzle or something like that, like something weird at work or something weird in my personal life, I'm looking at it still like a video game, like a challenge, like some kind of puzzle to figure out. But then also at the same time, like I have things in my life. Video games are mirrored from real life, and movies, same thing. Like people forget that they're designed to mimic what life actually is. So like my watch, whenever I first got the watch, I actually was treating that like a video game. Like when we were working out together at Planet Fitness, like every time it was a game and a challenge to get above a certain calorie count and a certain amount of moving time, standing time. So my watch, it was like a game in and of itself. I have reminders that are like the objectives, and I set alarms to make sure that I can, follow through with it. So there's like a time trial to it. And if you've ever, we've played Halo, but for the viewers, if you ever played Halo, like a campaign, you might have like 4 objectives, and that objective is like achievable and what you should be completing for the mission. So for me, the mission is every day. Every day you have that thing, and then you have your objectives that you're trying to nail down. So you may or may not succeed. It may be. Maybe that mission needs to wait till another day. But for me, when I did nurse recruiting, that was something that I learned was like, hey, get all of your achievable tasks and things you want to get done that day, have them written down. And if you don't get them done, write it down, and this is the last thing you do for tomorrow. So then tomorrow you start off, you might write a whole new sheet. And then on that day, you write, here are the things I want to get done. And I even improved the system to to-dos and todays and tomorrows. So like to-dos are things you're going to need to get done at some point. Todays is like, hey, pick from those to-dos what you need to get done today. And then you write down things that you're probably not going to get done. So just aim for tomorrow. And if you get it done today, great. But like I would pick off the to-dos and sort them into today's and tomorrow's. And then I even have one further goes future. And then I have another block. It says need to know. So like I have all these things mapped out so that this video game, I can achieve all the objectives and get the mission completed.
Dude, I love that. Because like I think of the fact that like there are a lot of video games out there, and like I'll use Call of Duty since we brought that one up. Like every day you get in there, there are a set of challenges that they'll pull you from playing multiplayer to battle royale to all these different things, which is cool because now you got to go do it in here, you got to go do it in here, but you don't have to do those challenges. But they give you a bunch of XP for doing that and like leveling yourself up. So there's all those abilities to do like positive stuff with the video games that will end up translating into outside of the video games, you know? So, gents, this was an absolute kick-ass episode of talking about fantasy worlds, the video games and the VRs and all that fun shit. I didn't bring up the fact that like maybe our stuff is getting a little too crazy. And I did have this at one point in time. This would be my, going out message on this one was, I mean, if you want to be a goat, you can literally be a goat. Like there is Goat Simulator.
I was going to say, if you are spending time being a goat, you need to go outside.
But I mean, that's an opportunity. Maybe you want to be an animal. You grew up playing like you were a dog all the time. Now you get the opportunity to actually really be a goat in a video game. So, I mean,
yeah, well, that goat uses its tongue as a weapon. It can jump 50 feet in the air. Like,
that is true.
That goat's pretty sick, actually.
So, this was an absolute kick-ass episode on fantasy worlds. All of the fun stuff of video games and whatnot. We got Brandon. We got Derry. I'm gonna give both these guys an opportunity. You got anything for us to ride out on?
Just want to say thank you, guys.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys listening. I just think about the video games and stuff like it. We'll actually hit on the next episode, which is a good transition to wandering. Like sometimes it isn't about achieving a goal or winning. It could just be whatever progress means to you. So just even translating into real life, just you don't have to go out and win every single day. But if you can look back and say, I made this one step, or I just kind of wandered around and hung out for a little bit, like there's beauty in that too.
I think at the end of the day, my final statement is if you're enjoying yourself and you're having fun and you have no shame for what you're doing, then just enjoy it. Enjoy it and enjoy the ride the wave. But when you start to, as Titty brought up, starting to get irritable about not playing the video game or not being immersed into that world, then maybe we pushed a dial. And I would say that I've experienced that before for sure. So enjoy yourself, but when you start feeling shame, that's time to not play the game.
Also, don't forget to make some memories.
Yes. Enjoy yourself for sure. So guys, the group always says, don't trust us, trust yourself. That's because you got all the answers and we're just riding along feeding you our bullshit for you to maybe take some tidbits from that end up, feeling like you're not alone, feeling like there are people out there who understand you.
What about a social media segment called Titbits? Not tidbits, Titbits, and it's just tits wisdom for the week.
Tits wisdom for the week.
Titsbits.
Titsbit, yeah. Just beat me to it.
Sorry. Okay.
I love it.
You can finish it off. I'm sorry.
But no, don't trust us. Trust yourself. We absolutely appreciate you guys riding along with us. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.
Thank you.
Later.
Thanks again for tuning in to episode 48, Fantasy World. How do I stay grounded in reality? Don't hesitate to catch the gang's next release, episode 49, Wanderer. Am I lost, or was this always the path? Let's give you 2 sneak peek questions from the episode outline. Question number 1, how do you personally define the difference between wandering and being directionless? Can the two ever overlap in a healthy way? And another one from that episode outline, looking at your current self, what parts of your journey, especially the unexpected ones, do you now see as essential to who you are today? Well, this one came from our good J.R.R. Tolkien. And not all those who wander are lost. So the gang gets together and let's see if they are lost or if they are actually on the path that was always destined for them. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.